So I thought today would be a good day to kind of show you what the garden looks like towards the end of winter, beginning of spring, when it's really kind of honestly at its worst. So hopefully we can do a good job this year tracking the progress from now until later in the year. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to go around and look at most of the garden and most of the yard and just talk about what's here. As you see, we've started kind of the weeding process here. Most of the front is actually, that's why we're starting here. This is like the good part, you know. We got daffodils coming up everywhere, which those daffodils and most of the daffodils here, we did not plant. They were here when we got here. I'll show you in a little bit. In some places they were, you couldn't see them because the weeds had gotten kind of overrun them, and when I started cleaning stuff up, they started sprouting. But this area, you know, there's some daffodils going. Still got the ice plants going. Some other things. I treated the trees with some stuff the other day. So the daffodils are coming along. They look pretty. And there's my bush. That's my favorite. There's some kind of willow, and I can never remember what. It'll probably need a trim this year finally. But I'll have to figure out exactly how you're supposed to do that. And you can already see signs of things to come. The tulips are starting to pop up. I added a few in the fall, but there are more than I added popping up, which means that they're starting to spread, which is good. But I look forward to the tulips. They're one of my favorites. And that's one of those ideas that was purely mine. I'm putting in a tulip patch. But yeah, there's some sage that's beginning to come up. But as far as flowers go, it's mostly the daffodils. There's a few others like these. Show you these over here that I can't remember the name of right now. They're hard to see because we didn't cut down this, which we should. And I probably will now that it's spring. Maybe come back out here after this video. But they're coming along. So there's flowers coming, the early stuff. Move the strawberries out here so they'll get some rain. I got peas in here already going. I got to go in there and weed again. So it looks like some of the peas are coming up. We'll double check that. But yeah, they're in there. One of the things where I weeded and planted them and then other weeds popped up. I'm going to get this ready. This is going to be onions this year. See how we do grow. We've struggled with onions, but we'll try some other spots like this for onions this year. And then again, that's one of those spots with the daffodils where we didn't plant any of this, and a few would pop up every now and then. It wasn't until I really got in here and cleared this and started keeping it clear that they just kind of started to explode along this bank, which is great. I'm going to keep trying to clear this and keep it clear. Those are ones that haven't bloomed yet. So the blackberries have some new growth on them, so that's good. This is the dry area. The garden is where it's really bad, which you're about to see. But yeah, nothing really new out here. It'll be our first year for being able to pick the asparagus. Been weeding through this some, but the asparagus will be coming soon, and I'm looking forward to that. But no mushrooms or berries yet. We're still early for that. But let's take a look here. This is the awful part that I kind of really wanted to show you, just so you can see how, you know, it can be discouraging. But like this front entrance is a mess. This is a product of us putting wood chip in here many times. It is broken down. We've had a lot of rain in the winter, and it takes forever to dry out anyway because the clay's so close to the top. So this is just awful. Sinks in. Always wear the mud boots out here. Now there are spots where I started, as I was digging out the pond, because I hit so much clay, I just started putting the clay here, and that actually is doing better than where the wood chip has been. So I'm going to try and firm that up when I can dig the pond again. But in here, most of it's been pulled out, at least in these front beds. The salad crops are growing well. I'll show you over there. But like this mess, of course, Kira has been doing her part to make this work. Digging, that's why she's not out here with me right now. But that's part of why we're going to Living Pathways too, is because I knew this would probably start happening. So this will all get kind of raked, and we've got clover to come in here, and hopefully we'll get clover started in here, and that'll do a lot, because the places where there is clover actually aren't that bad, because the clover helps hold the soil together, and the clover also uses the water. So hopefully we'll get that started well in here, and it'll be fine. Like you can see, again, this is another spot where I was filling in spots with what I was digging up, and it's fine. It really is just where it's mostly, 3 or 4 inches of what was wood chip at one point on there. Not sure if those cabbages are going to finish before they start going to seed, or we have to put what comes in next. You won't have seen any of it yet, but I've been documenting this. But this is still the state of the pond dig, in that we've had so much water and there was so much clay in there that I haven't been able to finish digging it because it got water in it, and it's been going ever since. So as soon as that dries out, I'm going to finish digging that, whatever day that is. Even if that means I got to take a day off work and come out here and do it, so I can get that dug and get it shaped right and get the liner in it, and then I won't care that there's water in it. And I can start putting in plants. This has got to be weeded again. It's done pretty well. This compost had less weed seeds in it that I made. There's still a few in there, and also, as I raked that wood chip, I put it on there, and that seemed to help. The places where I composted, or not composted, but mulched or put dead leaves, did a lot better. And so we'll make sure that gets done this year at the end of the year. That will be coming out of there and going into the pond when the pond is done. You can't really see it yet. The biggest change, and I don't think I filmed anything as I did this, is I took out this interior fence. I don't know how well you can tell, but there used to be an interior fence between the garden and the blueberries, and I took that out. We've been getting the grass out, mostly Babe, not me. I've been doing some parts of it. And then we'll come back in, replace a few blueberries, and put in some new pine straw. The bees are doing great. I got to get those covers off and check in on them, but they're doing good. I need to get another hive set up, because I expect in about a month or two, one of those hives, most likely the middle one, will swarm. And I want to make sure I catch that swarm. So I have 4. The salad crop's still doing great. There's some mustard, some bok choy, and some arugula in there. I actually went through and picked a little bit of everything in this bed, and a little bit of everything in that bed, and a little bit of some of the kale that's outside, and I made us a pretty big salad. The garlic is coming up. It'll be a while before we can get that. And then I'm just constantly compost work. I'm gonna cut a little bit of the grass that's dry enough and add it to that compost to try and get it going. The batch that I want to use early on. And we're waiting on new strawberries. I'm still growing that in there, because why not, until we're ready to put in new strawberries. But that's it. That's kind of, like I said, you can see the mess. There's not much else to show. It's the best and worst of it. Like I said, there's a few cabbages out there doing well, a few other things. But yeah, this is March. This is March in the garden, and before we can really get started, and this is this is what it looks like, and hopefully it's not gonna look like this for much longer. So yeah, there's a quick kind of March worst of the garden update. All right.